Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Hikurangi te maunga, ko Waiapu te awa, ko Ngati Porou te iwi. Ki te taha o toku tipuna Kuia, no Te Whanau Apanui me Whakatohea. Ko Agnes and I am running for the Maori Ward. Kia ora whānau. Why I'm running for council is because I've always been a believer and I think it's our time now. You know, we've taken this 180 plus years for Māori to be at the table of local government. I was one of those people who did a submission to the council around the importance of having Māori wards, having Māori representation at a government level. So I thought I should follow that through and make myself available. Yes, and like my mokopuna says, Nan, why are you running for council? I said, I'm running for council because of you. So ultimately you lead the way for your mokopuna by role modelling courageous and challenging behaviours for them to rise up to. Ironically, one of the reasons I'm running for council is because of the Māori Wards. And I suppose if I was going to change one thing, it's around how serious is the relationship with the council and the treaty settlements with iwi within this district. So I'd be pretty committed to ensuring that the iwi are having their place in terms of their treaty settlements. Leaving a good foundation for young people to rise to the challenge to be at the table of decision making, rather than being quite comfortable to sit back and allow other people to make those decisions for us. I think at the end of the day, in the Māori world, we always talk about tino rangatiratanga, we always talk about mana mo te hake, but how do we translate that into everyday living? And I think those challenges are like how they've reshaped local government, changing the environments that enable people the opportunity to make their contributions. I would hope so, because ultimately when you look at the fact that the council is the regulator and the way that all the rules and regulations are made, you know, simple things like resource consents, even though they're not simple, they impact on people's journey towards housing. So I mean, when I look at all the work that the iwi are doing in this district around housing, one would hope that the regulations are user-friendly. You know, I also think sometimes when you look at the regulations and you think, wow, my whānau, we went and got a resource consent to build our whare over here, and then all the rains and everything comes and everything rolls away and you no longer have a whare. So sometimes we put a lot of faith in the processes, and I suppose we underestimate the importance of those sorts of regulations. And I think a commitment around social housing, you know, you can't have one rule for all if you want to actually create a level playing field. And I think there has to be courage around creating social housing at an affordable rate for the whānau that need that, and not feel that everyone has to be paying the same level for social housing. Well, I think that at the end of the day, arts are important because they create that sense of connection and community. I think when you look at the Māori Arts Festival that they've had in the last couple of years, and you look at the placemaking along the waterfront with all of the Ngati Porou and whatever, it's fantastic. And then, you know, you have all the different little shows, and you have to have an end. So without that, you know, we can worry about our survival, but we do need to feed our heart, our minds and our souls. So a little bit of art goes a long way to making us all happy, because communities should never underestimate the value of how do you create connectedness and happiness. Well, I suppose I engage in lots of ways already, which is one of the reasons why I'm running. So, and one of the reasons I'm running for the Māori Ward is because I'm quite clear. I'm very pro-Māori. I take a very active role in my whānau, my hapu, my iwi. And so I will continue to connect in the way I do, by going through the pā, you know, doing the do's, and yeah. But I suppose at a council level, there'll be a greater responsibility to work with the other iwi within the Tairāwhiti region, and there's nothing better than the old cup of tea when it comes to the old Maoris. We like to see each other, we like to feel each other, and we like to touch each other. So you got to be there. Oh, well, I suppose at the end of the day, you know, we've spent all these years fighting for recognition as the treaty partner. And ultimately, it's taken us 182 years to get to the table of local government. And ironically, local government is about to be shredded into all sorts of realms. While people might not say that the local government reforms have hit us just yet, just by virtue of all the, the three waters and the review of the RMA is going to create a different environment for the council. And I'd like to think that what is good for me as Ngati Porou is good for all of our iwi within Tairāwhiti, and it also adds value for all of the region and all of the people that live within our region. Because one of the concepts for us as Māori is that your sense of manaaki is not just to your own, but it's all to all of the people that are within your whenua. So you have an obligation to look after all. I suppose a number one priority would still be around community housing, because unless people are housed, they're still going to live in crisis. I think there's been a lot of people impacted and communities impacted with all the erosion and all the weather that's happened over the last couple of years in particular. I think it's about making sure that some money is targeted into these areas that have been hit very hard. I think, how do you create a sense of community engagement through the rangatahi? It's very hard at a rangatahi level to be able to make contributions when you're surrounded by old fogies like Agnes Walker, and sometimes it's really important to be able to have initiatives that can actually encourage our young people to be the leaders of their tomorrow. So I think a lot more investment in our people for their contribution back to our region. I suppose just in keeping of why I ran for council, it was really around trying to encourage my whānau to vote for me. So essentially, I'm really pleased that there are so many Māori that have stood up and put their hands up and are running for council. Because what we're saying to ourselves and everyone else in this district and throughout our country is that Māori understand our obligation to participate in our decision making. So I'd just like to encourage all of the whānau out there to vote, just so that we can actually. We've said that we haven't participated because the tables are not user friendly. We now have this opportunity that says, hey, you're going to have 5 Māori that are sitting at a local government table. So be part of today and be part of tomorrow by actually making use of your number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It's our time to make a difference. Kia ora whānau.